How to overcome any kind of addiction. In order to do that, you need to completely understand what addiction is. Obviously, addiction takes place in the mind. Your mind has three systems: the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. And all these three systems work for you. Now, you control only one, the conscious. So, how does addiction of any kind take place? When you consciously start doing something, it gets registered in all three of your systems. When you continue doing the same things, it transforms into a habit. Addiction is basically a habit gone out of your control. Now, this transformation greatly depends on the nature of the things that you are doing. What do I mean by nature? Nature of the things here means, does it give you pleasure, pain, does it cause irritation? The nature of the act decide whether it will become a habit sooner or later. Basically, things that give you pleasure, requiring minimum effort, are more likely to become a habit, much faster than things that take a lot of effort and give less to zero pleasure. Let's divide it into short-term happiness and long-term happiness. Short-lived happiness is achieved by doing things that give a short burst of pleasure. A joke, hanging out with friends, chatting online with girls, having a lover, gaming, watching comedy on YouTube, eating, drinking, smoking, lazing around, Snapchatting, Instagram. You get the picture. The things common in all these activities is you receive great pleasure while doing them. But the moment they end, the pleasure dies. So in order to keep feeling good, you repeat them without any moderation. Therefore, becoming an addict without even knowing about it. You are watching videos online for hours without realizing you are addicted. Sending requests, messages, chatting because you are addicted, not to a girls, but girls in general. You are willing to throw away your work, studies and opportunities so you can spend more time with them. Because you get happy by being around her. So you want more and more and more of that, inevitably becoming an addict of that person or a group of friends, which is called codependence or the ritual of hanging out. Or any activity, gaming, chatting, anything that gives you instant pleasure. Basically, addiction is an attempt to stretch the short-term happiness to long-term happiness by keep doing them. Now, if that's the case, then why don't we simply focus on long-term happiness? Long-term happiness is achievement based, which means the pleasure, the element that you love the most comes after you have achieved something. In the process, there are no happy feeling or pleasure. On the contrary, they require hardship, seriousness and discipline. For example, studying, going to the gym, practicing an interest, perfecting a craft, learning, focusing on all the things that are traditionally the opposite of fun. And that is why it's hard to make such things a habit. And human by nature are lazy beings. We seek to extract pleasure from the easiest option available, which is why we focus on short-term pleasure. Because they require absolutely no effort. Without realizing, we may be screwing ourselves up in the future. That is the answer. 2. Why we become addicted to anything. The question is, once we become addicted to something, why it is impossibly hard to undo it. 3 reasons. 1. Pleasure. Since all this activity basically takes place in the mind, you need to understand something about it. Your brain recognizes and prefers following patterns. When it sees that you are doing something daily or for hours each day, it fits that activity into a pattern and introduces it into your daily routine. Now, that is where pleasure becomes a game changer. Pleasure is not some abstract, inexplicable phenomenon. Whenever you experience a burst of pleasure, happiness, there is a release of hormones in your brain. From fapping to watching videos, to being around the person you want to be with. These hormones are the reason behind those happy feelings. So if addiction is habit gone out of control, it means you are abusing the short-term pleasures by repeating them, which technically means you are abusing the release of hormones in your brain, and your brain is taking the abuse into account, fitting it into a pattern and introducing it as a new routine, which makes you want to do it every day more and more. And that is why you don't realize you have become an addict until it starts to have serious consequences. Different peoples are addicted to different things, but all those addictions are connected through a common thread: short-term pleasure. There is no pleasure in working out, studying, learning something from scratch, creating or building something unless you love it. Otherwise, It is simply very hard work, and I know that I'm repeating myself, but I do so because it is highly important. This is the reason why generation after generation people will continue becoming an addict of something or the other, simply because we are lazy and we want to be happy. And because we are lazy, we look for the easiest way to be happy and repeat them unjudicially so we can extend those short-term pleasure into long-term pleasure. And being trapped by this tribal act of short-term pleasures, which you don't even consider as addiction, to which you devote your entire day and gladly want to. One day you will realize that you've done nothing except that, and life will be throwing a lot of opportunities in your way which you are going to miss because you didn't update your qualities. You didn't learn anything because you wasted off your time. Now tell me, how many of you already feel that way about your relationships? That you wasted a lot of time in it and you could have done so many things, so much during that same time, but you wouldn't put the same blame on gaming, Instagramming, on YouTube. Why? Because they seems very innocent. What you don't realize is that their functioning is based on addiction. How much time you spend on them and how can they improve on it? Those are their prime concerns. Their entire revenue model centers around the extent of your addiction. Do you want to avoid it? Keep a check on the short-term pleasures because it is impossible to avoid them entirely. You need relaxation, but focus on the word relaxation and use the amount of short-term pleasure needed to relax yourself and have fun. But don't start abusing them because they are too easy to abuse. You want to be a winner. Focus on long-term pleasure. Choose the hard things, the hard work in your life, because they will result not in happiness but contentment. You will be content because at the end of the hard work, all the struggle and pain, you have changed something about your life completely. Understanding this also help you keep away from depression. Depression oftentimes is linked with addiction you create. For example, what is the most common source of depression? Breakup. But you will be fascinated to know that not all breakups, including bad breakups, result in depression, because there is a distinction in way the relationship was approached. If you make your partner the prime source of your happiness, the moment they are gone, you will be devastated. As a result and lack of better understanding, people come up with the theory called it's true love. No, by spending and wanting to spend all that time with that person, you become an addict of the short-term pleasure called her company. When cut off from the endless supply of pleasure, what are you going to feel? Panic, craving, desire for her company, immediate need for satisfaction, any level of compromise and self-destruction needed to get back the supply of happiness. Because your brain doesn't know it is unhealthy, and it has been unhealthy for a long time already. Your brain manages your good health based on the choice you make. So once you enter the vacuum of pleasure leading to depression, you decide to replace it with other sorts of short-term pleasure. Being watching TV shows, online videos, gaming, rebound relationships, casual hookup, smoking, drinking, creating new dangerous habit and addiction, etc. etc. Trying to fill the vacuum of pleasure the departure of your partner has created. At the same time, people who see relationships as only one aspect of their lives have a lot of stuff going on, are focused, take very less time to move on. So, what do we learn? Your brain wants you to be happy. When you do or expose yourself to something that gives you immediate happiness, your brain registers it and emboldens you to do more of that because it sees it as sign of a good health. It means that every single day, your brain will automatically start demanding you to do that. You might think, why doesn't your brain warn you? Well, because you are its owner. It works for you. Its job is to process anything you are introducing in your system. Also, these activities initially do make you happy. Second reason, why it is hard to undo an addiction denial. Addiction usually grows stronger because we deny their existence not only to others but to ourselves. Let me give you an example of denial. Let's say there is a guy who strongly maintains that he hates going to clubs, but once upon a time he went to a club and actually enjoyed it. Now, consciously, he still believes on an intrinsic level of that he hates club. But whenever he asks by his friend to visit one, all he needs is a little bit convincing. It's happened because subconsciously that one club memory or the idea of clubbing is attached to happiness. So consciously he might still believe he didn't want to go, but he went. And to explain that, he will most probably blame his friends. It was because of them they dragged me. A lot of people do things which they then blame on others. You are not anybody's slave. You did that because of a happy association. This is very complicated but common example of denial. 3. Lack of understanding, which leads you to think that you are a victim. The worst things about addiction is that feeling that it has now become a part of my life, which is unchangeable. It happened because you don't understand how it works. The truth is, it is only a routine that you have built. You bring changes in your routine all the time. But because there is a nobody to tell you that, and you are getting forced by your own brain for that dose of pleasure, you think there is no solution. If there wasn't, then how come so many people have quit their addiction? Of course, it is possible. Here's what you need to understand. You control only one part of your brain, the conscious, and it knows and understands that the relationship is over. But the other two parts aren't controlled by you, and they have their own pace of understanding. Now, understand this video is getting elongated, but bear with me. The first step to solving any problem is understanding its mechanisms, how it works. When you know how it works, you can fix it. When most people try to quit their addiction, they find it hard, and as a result, they think they are slave to their addictions, which is why my brain and body wanting me to do is so badly, especially when I don't want to. All you need it to do is consciously focus on new routine and wait for your subconscious and conscious and your body, in case it is physical addiction, to make the necessary adjustment, and they will, because they are working for you. It takes from 20 to 28 days to build a new habit. So whatever you want to quit, just quit it for 28 days. And whenever you feel that compulsion, just know that is the other two system getting confused and trying to make you follow a daily pattern that you had previously set and are now going to change. It's like you are working in a factory and you have three very capable workers under you. One of them stays right next to you, but the other two work in a different building. When you decide to stop an addiction, you tell the worker next to you that the production of the particular product has to stop, but you are unable to convey the same to the other two workers. So as responsible workers, they are doing everything in their power to send you messages, warning sign, reminder, which you would identify as urges to do that very things, to get that instant dose of pleasure, which they see as a sign of good health. Your addiction makes you happy now. Until now, even you consciously saw it as a good thing, which is why you were abusing it as much as you could. By deciding to stop it, you understand that is actually bad for you, but you can't convey that to your subconscious and unconscious part of your brain, which is why at the back of your head you will have urges or a soft spot for those addiction or the rest of your life. It's the price you pay for those reckless decisions and choice you make in your life. To break it down, here are a few points. 1. The very first things you need to do it, evaluate your daily routine right now and call out your addiction. 2. Make a decision that you are going to stop them for 28 days. That's it. Don't use the word quitting. You are just taking a break from all those activities. For 28 days, you are not gonna do them even once. 3. Understand that you are in a charge of your life. You are the conscious part of your brain. You will decide what your life becomes. Your addiction habit choice are your initiatives. Take responsibility. 4. In the time you have stopped your addiction, you will experience a vacuum. Now this could be replaced by other addiction, which we do not want. Instead, I would ask you to build a new habit centering it around motive to make your life healthier, to make ourselves physically healthier. We have gyms, but what about the mind? Most addiction take place when we have a lot of time to ourselves. Our mind is bordering close to loneliness. Ask yourself, what hobbies would you like to take? Go join classes, become a part of communities, help where help is needed. Connect with NGOs, try to build an active social life by finding your social interest. What connects you to do this world, and what small ways would you like to give back? Take up instrument, languages, courses on different subjects that interest you. All this interest will help you in a few ways. You will meet a lot of new people with similar interests. You will feel positive venturing into new territories. You will build new skills and you will move away from loneliness, which is possibly the biggest trigger of your addiction. 5. Implement order in your life. If your day is managed by randomness or chaos, but you might think that is my life, but your brain is managing all that chaos and shifting it into an order that isn't chosen by you. And that's how you become a victim of triviality, because when the time comes for a serious order or a routine to be in a place, it becomes impossibly fucking hard. After 28 days, you will have conquered your addiction. Now you are met with a choice again to permanently stop the madness and embrace the new habit, the lifestyle you have created. 6. Introduce moderation in your life. We all need fun, relationships, friends, entertainment, and means to relaxation in our life. But this should be done by choice and not random selection or external persuasion. 7. Understand that the idea of fun comes with the responsibility of self-control. Why? Because every action carries consequences. That is a natural law. Every action will have consequences, moral or physical or both. So you cannot accept that nothing will come out of an action as long as it under the broad spectrum of fun. Most people tend to think that way, and they do lots of stupid shit in the name of fun they wouldn't otherwise. A lot of regrets stem out of spontaneous decisions take under a high of having fun. Approach fun with a responsibility of self-control, because fun by definition is meant to be an enjoyable moment and not a life fucking experience, regretful action or the start of an addiction. Lastly, if you are addicted to a substance, medicines, drugs, then you are seriously need to consider medical help cooperation of your loved ones and maybe check yourself into a rehabilitation centers. In this video, I have talked about mostly psychological addiction which are broadly related to pleasure, the neurotransmitters called dopamine, whereas alcohol, drugs, pills do not only mess with your mind, they change your brain chemistry. They trigger different neurotransmitters and they take over. If you want more details, watch the videos called The Chemistry of Addiction by Sky Show. I have avoided any scientific jargon in this video because I wanted this to be a friend talking to you and not a science lesson. And most importantly, if you are young, you haven't taken drugs or don't mind taking drugs, don't. Please don't ever. No is beautiful character building scary word. Use it with full liberty. It is scary because people don't accept hearing that. They fear hearing that. It scares them because it makes them caution themselves. You are going to meet a lot of people who in the name of coolness, fun, beast mode, savage behavior are going to push drugs on you. Just have it once. Just one drag, one time for me. You can't do it for me. Don't be a pussy. How are we are going to have fun? I promise how they are fucking morons. In that moment, they might be a person you look up to. You think is a genius, clever, full of charisma, but they are clueless idiot. Say no, even if you are breaking their heart for your sake. Say no and get the fuck away from there. Get away from such people as far as you can. Doesn't matter how cool you think they are. Get them out of your life. Not everything is meant to be experienced. You are going to hear a persuasion tactic called one should try everything at least once in their lifetime. Really? Well then go murder someone or eat shit. Life is going to throw enough tragedies your way. There is no reason to create them. I hope you enjoy this excruciatingly elongated video, and don't forget to subscribe. Adios and have a great day. And don't forget, you are awesome.